There are some Kenyan activists that were arrested in Uganda as they were campaigning for Bobi Wine. I feel sad for them because the Ugandan government, if the Ugandan government can be so brutal on political activists in Uganda, what about foreigners? Because everyone was around Bobi Wine, Bobi Wine security, Eddie Muto, etc. have been abducted and taken to prison. What about these foreigners? Okay? And the same people that have been opposing Ruto back in Kenya. And I feel so bad. In a tweet that was done by Bobi Wine, he came out to say, and I quote, "We strongly condemn the abduction by armed operative of Kenya." Okay? We strongly condemn the abduction by armed operatives of Kenyan activist and human rights defender Bob Nyagi and Nicholas Ayo. The two were picked up mafia style this afternoon from a petrol station in Chireka and driven off to unknown destination. We condemn the continuing lawlessness by the rogue regime and demand that these brothers are released unconditionally. The criminal regime apparently abducted them simply for associating with me and expressing solidarity to the cause. That is a tweet which was written by Bobi Wine. In fact, he also tagged these pictures. Here's it. Those are Kenyan activists. Okay? So for me, the reason I'm feeling bad is if the system can still abduct citizens, arrest them, trumped charges are put against them, what about foreigners? The system can wake up and say that they were found with guns and be tried and be killed. It can be possible. In fact, it is even more worse that back in Kenya, these are the same people who are opposing Ruto. They have an organization that opposes Ruto. And ever since Ruto came into power in Kenya, we've seen him meddling in Ugandan politics. Kenya is the same country that abducted the Besigye from Nairobi, brought him to Uganda. The Kenyan authority never protested because under international law, it is not allowed for a country to enter another country to abduct any citizen. But between Kenya and Uganda, it was done. There are laws of extraditement. For example, if Uganda wants to arrest a Ugandan in Kenya, there are some procedures supposed to face. Under Besigye, nothing was used to extradite him. Even the president never protested. So you clearly see that there is a collaboration between the Ruto's regime to buttress the dictatorship in Uganda. Okay? If maybe Kenya was a democracy, it would come in for their citizens. But trust me, I think they won't come out to make any statement. Because even Ruto is being fought back home for mishandling Uganda. If Ruto is looking up to General Kaguta Museveni, then it is bad news. Because in the region, Kenya has been the biggest democracy. At least, they are not where they are supposed to be, but at least they have done a lot when it comes to democracy. So when their citizens come here in Uganda and be abducted without them making any statement, it shows you how bad the regime is. It is so unfortunate. In fact, even Citizen TV back in Kenya made a story about that. Here's the that is Citizen TV. So as these things continue, you clearly see that there are signs of a failed state. It's only a regime that fears people. It's only a regime that is nearing its ending that does these things. What did they do? Tell me one thing. Did they break a law? No, of course. We all know how politics is handled in this country. Military engages in politics. They abduct, they kill. I will not be surprised that they will be held incommunicado for months because they have also done that to citizens. I implore these people in the security forces, don't be high-handed. Stop being high-handed. We are still young. We are going to be in this country. This country is for all of us. Governments come and go. The only better thing is to do the right thing. It's when we shall be winners as a country. Of course, as my opinion, I remain yours truly, Mr. Makindi. Kabia Sulaiman Mawagali, the next MP for Makindi East constituency. I will see you on another one. Peace.